Time to wake up. It's Saturday morning. Find some milk and cereal. Grab a bowl and spoon. No, a bigger spoon. Head to the living room and take a seat on the floor while Joseph and Chris present to you Saturday Morning Cartoon!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cartoon Boom! This is a show where we wake up with the Saturday morning sun, popped on the floor with a big bowl of sugary cereal, and we'll try your favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And this morning, to wrap up the year 20XX, aka 2020, we took a look back at everything we reviewed last year and gave out our 8 individual cereal-rific awards. Welcome, everyone, to the second annual Spoonie Awards.
The Spoonies! Spoonies! Something about cereal, but don't eat the spoons because they're metal spoonies. I don't know. That's my contribution to this intro.
we need to get that song recorded and ready for next year's.
We're the originators of Spoonies, not that cereal company that stole it from us recently. Dang it.
Oh, yeah.
We just thought they were like our first annual Spoonies. And I'm like, bro, we're on our second annual Spoonies. So you guys can go do something, I don't know, something I can't say on the air.
To be fair, they're an actual company, and we have no legal rights whatsoever to fight them, so they could countersue us very easily.
Yeah, we're nothing compared.
We have
to
no
these
grounds.
People. We have no grounds whatsoever. So congrats to them. But dang it, come on, man!
I thought it was original. It was at the time. Oh well.
Everyone steals our good ideas.
Yeah, we got to start trademarking things.
I know. We're gonna trademark everything from now on. Everything.
Done.
All
right. So the way we did it last year was, I don't know how many we had. We had I
think we had 11,
11, yeah.
Which was a weird number.
It was, but we condensed it down because that was reviewing everything that we had ever done up to episode 200. That was 199 episodes worth of content. And this is just everything we reviewed in 2020, or really everything post episode 200. So 29 different cartoons. We've condensed it down to 8 awards, to 8 categories to award, and we'll just go ahead and get started.
Let's do that.
So just like last year, the very first award is going to be our First Bite Award, which is Best Intro.
Ooh.
You want to go first, or you want me to?
How about you? No, you know what? I'm going to go first on this one. How about we can alternate? Let's alternate this. But I'm going first. The best intro of everything we watched. And as you said, this is from everything from the point of the last Spoonies, which is everything in 2020, but also there's a couple stragglers in there that occurred before 2020. My choice is not one of those stragglers. So I don't know why I brought that up right now. But I chose Thundercats.
Oh,
because not only is the music great and super catchy, but the animation is so action-packed and so well done in this intro. It just showcases the best animation that the 80s had to offer, with so many beautiful animated lighting effects in addition to just constant motion and all those really vivid colors, which is just the thing that really sticks in my head the whole time. Plus the intro, the Thundercats, and then just the bam, 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 and all the music. It just pulls you in. It gets you so pumped. I looked at it I watched it several times today while I was thinking about it. And one thing I wanted to point out, if you go on YouTube, you can find a really cool upscaled version of it. It's upscaled for 8K. Which is crazy.
Whoa.
It's a channel literally called Upscale.
Nice.
But they have a bunch of upscaled versions of different cartoon intros from back in the day. And the Thundercats one is gorgeous. I mean, they really eliminated a lot of the pixelation that happens from shows back then. So you can really see just how detailed the animation really was with all the cells. The animation is just so fluid in every transition, and with the lasers, with whips, with the characters jumping from scene to scene and battling and everything like that. It's amazing. It's one of the greatest cartoon intros ever.
Thundercats is a fantastic intro. Now that I'm thinking back on it, as you were talking about it, it was playing back in my head and I'm reliving it and the power that it has behind it. I think that would be a great wake up alarm even.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. There's one thing that like I always loved about this and about Transformers because there's so many similarities in the style of animation and everything. And I didn't do enough of the research to see if they were done by the same animation studio, so shame on me. But there is so much similarity in the use of the lighting effects and stuff like that, especially in the intros. That stands out to me so much because I'm a colors guy and a light guy. So the color and the light is so bright and vivid in this, and both of those shows do it, and the intro shows it off better than anything else in the show. And it just I love it. It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in animation is the intro of this.
One thing I want to say, like right up front, is that we don't know what the other person chose for any of these categories.
Yeah,
so
we have
all
no
this is
idea.
going to be a surprise.
Yes.
I'm going to go into mine now. This was a tough choice because there were a lot of great intros, Thundercats included. But I ended up choosing DuckTales 2017.
Ooh, good call.
Our episode 207. What's fantastic about it is it takes all the elements that are great about the original and makes it so magical because it's got like a comic book aesthetic to it where you're jumping from panel to panel. It's got that halftone or Band-Aid dots like element. And the transitions are just so excellent. And something I wanted to add in also, in addition to that, is that I was watching an episode recently that was, it was called Glom Tales, the episode name, because it was like Flintheart Glomgold was kind of taking over, or trying to take over as he usually does. But what they did with the intro was they made it his intro and him singing the song and like making fun of it. And so they converted the whole intro to Glom Tales. And it's got him like making up words in place of the other words and kind of pasting his face over like Scrooge McDuck's. And it's just so good and so funny and original that I just wanted to bring that up as an addition to an already great intro. Is they're willing to modify it to add on to the episode itself. So I just think it's a fantastic show in and of itself, but the intro is just like, it's golden. And it's one of those that I don't even need to skip. It's so good because I just enjoy hearing that music and seeing the visuals.
I think that there's definitely something to be said when you find a show where you don't want to hit that skip button on Netflix or Hulu or whatever you're watching. When you want to sit through that intro, that says so much about the level of quality that you're getting and the level of care and heart that went into something. I 100% agree with you there. And yeah, I remember that the intro for that show being fantastic. I loved the style of it. Everything about that show was great.
Yeah, so good. It's one of those that I actually continued watching after the fact, and I'm almost finished with, or almost caught up to where it is now at least.
Oh, wow.
So,
nice.
Yeah, definitely recommend checking out DuckTales, just at least the intro, but I think also the show because it's so good.
Yeah.
So the second award we have for today is the Still Crunchy Award, which is most nostalgic. This is a show that we are, I guess after watching it, it gave us the most feeling of nostalgia. This is actually a good transition because the one I chose was episode 218, which was Thundercats from 1985.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so this was one that I remembered from childhood, yes, but I was more enchanted by it coming back to it. I was afraid that it was going to have lost something with age and time and that I wouldn't be able to look back on it fondly. But I actually liked it more now as an adult than I ever did as a kid. And that's really saying something about it. So it's got the nostalgia behind it, but that just kind of leveled up when we watched it again. I guess my biggest takeaway from it was how great Snarf was. After thinking so little of him for so many years, I just assumed Snarf was another Orko who is just a wretched character in that he like usually leads to trouble that that He-Man and the rest of the Masters of the Universe come across. But in this case, Snarf actually saves the day more than anyone else, at least in the episodes we watched. Like, he's the hero. He's the unspoken hero of most of the show. He just doesn't get enough credit because he's a really quirky character. But it's something that now as an adult I can watch and be like, wow, if Snarf wasn't there, I don't think they would have made it past episode 1.
Oh, they'd all be dead if it wasn't for Snarf. They'd all be dead. I think that is a great pick. It also, like, in watching it as an adult, it also raised so many more questions for me that I never had as a child. Like, what do their bodies really look like? They're all like nude, but they're all Ken dolls and stuff down there in that first episode. And that had me so confused.
I guess their fur is their like underwear, basically. Well, one of them had like a split like underwear. Was it Panthro? I think either Panthro
You can see the lines. Yes.
Yeah, so weird.
I don't know.
Also,
man.
I wanted to say like Mumra, I think is such a great villain.
Yeah.
I actually like him visually, I guess, more than I do Skeletor, and that's saying a lot because I love Skeletor as a villain. So yeah, another bonus point for Thundercats because Mumra is so cool.
I think Mumra's backstory is much more interesting than Skeletor's. Like, I love the idea that Mumra is from even before our time. Like, he's from actual ancient Egypt of our era of Earth, you know, and I think that that's super cool. And I think that that's got, to me, that's got one up on Skeletor already.
Mm-hmm.
So for my Still Country Award, I awarded X-Men Evolution. And I know that in that episode, I talked at length about that show, and I could go on and on about it for hours more, but it brought back so many memories. And even though that wasn't a show that I was like a little kid when I watched it, you know, I was like late teens, I think, if I remember correctly, but it brought back so many feelings of nostalgia and just enjoyment because it gave us this opportunity to see actual teen representations of most of the X-Men with a lot of respect done to the original personalities from the comics, which is not something that we've really gotten almost at all in any other iteration, not even in the movies. They're almost always adults. We even get a teen Cyclops butting heads with Xavier, which is great. We get Nightcrawler and Beast struggling with their appearances, and Rogue struggling with her ability to be physically close to anyone, and then as a result, emotionally close to anyone. And I think they do it better in that show than any of the other shows that we've gotten so far. And another thing that I really liked is that the characters all matured with the series, and the series matured itself. Like, the storylines matured. You know, the first season is all about just these kids kind of surviving, quote unquote, high school and things like that. But then things start becoming very, very real as it goes on, and it's becoming heroes and putting the world before them, even when the world absolutely hates them or doesn't understand them. And it wasn't just like the X-Men characters, it was also like the Brotherhood. We got these really dynamic versions of each of them, like Toad and Blob and Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, who was given way more personality in this series than she had in the first several decades of her existence as a comic book character. And it toyed a lot with what makes these villains actual villains. Like, they blurred that line and delved into the gray on both sides a lot, showing you that there's only so much separation between good and bad, and that it comes down to the choices characters make, not characters innately being good or bad, which is why so many of them switch sides from time to time. And I just think that was super, super awesome. And plus they gave us so many characters to play with. We got X-Men, Brotherhood, Morlocks, New Mutants, we got Apocalypse, and the list just goes on. And then something that we failed to mention when we covered this, as pointed out by our listeners more than once and kind of reamed us for it a little bit, is that this show invented X-23, who is one of Marvel's greatest characters to date. Just like how Batman the Animated Series created Harley Quinn, they created her for this show, and she became so popular and took on this big life of her own that they're like, hey, we've got to bring this into the comics. And she's become one of their biggest stars. So it was such a good show. And one of the other things I wanted to say too is that it was just one of the most telling aspects about this show is that it learned from its mistakes, which is one of the few shows that I think I've seen that happen where it took a character that the audience didn't like and they knew the audience didn't like, which being Spike, and they decided to make his story more complicated, and then they had him leave the team only to come back as a cameo towards the end of the series when they were battling Apocalypse, when they needed help because they were desperate and they were losing, which made it way more impactful and made you take this character that you didn't really have a whole lot of like for, or at least a lot of the general public didn't have a lot of like for, because he was the annoying character. And then when he finally comes back at the very end, you're just like, oh my god, Spike's there too. Yeah, you're like relieved when this was a character nobody liked. So I think that was genius on their part. And I mean, obviously I'm going like super, super far into this thing, but it's like all of these feelings came back when we reviewed that, and I could keep going on and gushing about it. So this one definitely takes the cake for me.
Yeah, I had no nostalgic memories of that because it was a show that I avoided at the time. Not intentionally necessarily, but I wasn't really interested in pursuing it at the time. But I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that you brought it in because, yeah, it was a great new representation of the characters and did a lot of great things that the original show never did.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now we move on to the Shiny Spoon Award, which is Best Design and Animation. And I think you go first.
So for best design and animation, this was the category I struggled with the most out of everything that we were looking at. I spent so much time between about 4 or 5 different shows trying to figure out which one was going to get this one. And I had to make some real hard decisions. Like I literally like got anxiety thinking about this one because it was so close, but I'm giving this one to Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts. I think everything about the design of this show is beautiful, from character designs to the color palette. It is unmatched. There are just so many unique and creative ways of using color to influence the scenes and characters and things like that, with different shades of pinks and purples and blues to show differences in light and shadow rather than just using tints and shades of the same colors, which I think was a fantastic design choice. The character designs are fantastic. We have so many anthropomorphic characters that stand out, like the mod frogs, the timbercats. We've got those like science wolves. We've got the rats, the fitness raccoons. Every single character in the show has such a memorable design that I can just, if you name something, I'm going to be able to picture it with no problem. I mean, from the shape to the color. And I think the animation is used really well to convey not just action, but also the comedy. So they use it really well to like animate. They can animate something super slow or super fast to emphasize different reactions and pull out different types of comedic bits with it, especially in the case of something like Dave, when he ages really quickly and becomes, the old version of himself, like, his shell that he's in, or the form he's in right now. Sometimes it doesn't always get old quickly and become that shell that the new form needs to burst out of. But he might get scared and all of a sudden it just animates so fast. And they use that so well to emphasize like the comedy of the situation. And the one thing I like is that it's all still drawn on paper. This show is completely still drawn on paper. It's not computer animated. It's done by Studio Mir, the same studio that did Avatar and Korra and stuff. So I mean, obviously it's a studio that knows what they're doing, and I just feel like the entire style stands out. It feels like a graphic novel. It has that beautiful, colorful vibe to it that reflects the attitude of the show itself, of it being very vibrant, being very colorful, being very inclusive. I mean, you can look at the panels and just you can feel that. And I think that that's super unique and speaks a lot to the show itself.
Yeah, that was fantastically animated. That was on my short list of shows for this category too. It wasn't ultimately what won, but I do appreciate it. And it's so colorful and memorable visually, like you said.
Yeah. So what did you pick?
I chose episode 216, which was Primal from 2019.
Okay.
It's Genndy Tartakovsky, which he has such a unique style, but this is where he just kind of got to go wild with his ideas. It was like this show was made specifically for his art style, which was very angular. The colors are, even in these this primitive setting, still very vibrant, and it's got the nice contrast to it with it's a very bloody show. It's a mature show, yes, but it's got that nice contrast of like the harsh reds of blood against really anything else. Just to name a few of the really memorable characters. So the red bats in that Blood Moon episode were amazing. So horrifying.
Yeah.
The giant spider in that same episode, that was just a straight up like horror movie of an episode. Amazing. And then one of the other ones that really stuck out to me was the when the ape man in that, I guess the big ape warrior wore that triceratops skull. Visually, that's something that I just don't forget because it stood out to me so much. And I love the way that he did it. Like, this could have been done in so many different styles, but his specifically in this case works so well. Just the usage of shadow, highlights, or everything that went into the action scenes was amazing. Overall, just like as much as I loved a lot of the animation that we saw in the multiple series we watched this year or last year, this one was just like, is just stuck in my mind. And I find out now that there were only, I think, 5 or 6 episodes at the time. Now they're up to episode 10. So I really need to catch up.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that today also, because I knew that they did do a second season, and I was kind of wondering how far that one went, and just thinking to myself that I needed to catch up on that too, because I did see a preview of that second season, so I definitely want to catch it.
Like, if you're gonna watch it, well, watch it all, but one that really stands out is gonna be that Ape Man episode, which I think was episode 5, and that battle that they have after Spear basically Blue Hulks out. Oh my god, like that is like top of the line battle scene. Even though it's so one-sided, it's just so vicious and visceral that like that alone will, like, if they just showed that as a singular standalone animation, you'd be hooked.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
So that moves us on to our next category, which is the Stale Marshmallow Award. And that's the biggest disappointment. Not necessarily the worst thing we saw this year, because that comes later, but the one that we may or may not have been looking forward to, and then were extremely let down.
Yes.
So for me, there were a couple this year, but the one that really just like, ooh, like just thinking about it kind of upsets me. Episode 228, which was very recent, Sonic Underground from 1999. I'm a big Sonic fan. As a franchise, I like Sonic. I like the character. I like the video games, generally speaking. But this was such a letdown. As much as I didn't necessarily like some of the shows back from the earlier 90s, like this one just took everything that I didn't like about those and made it worse. There was the Manic the Hedgehog, horrible character. Sonia, pointless. Sonic was the only one with powers in that show, so it's like he just had siblings just so they could form a band, which was so strange because it was like a post-apocalyptic band. So they were trying to mix too many themes at the same time, and all voiced by Jaleel White because, like, I don't know, they just thought he needed to do every Sonic voice.
Or they had a small budget and they couldn't get anyone else.
Definitely that. But yeah, I was just so disappointed by that show in general. They tried to do a lot of things and just weren't successful at really any of them. And yeah, that was kind of a big letdown for me. I think I gave it a 1 or maybe a 1.5. I don't even remember, but definitely not a great show and kind of a smear on the Sonic franchise. Luckily, Sonic Boom is much better, so I recommend that instead.
Yeah, definitely Sonic Boom over Sonic Underground. My Stale Marshmallow Award is going to Howard Lovecraft and the Kingdom of Madness, which was our episode 226. Here's the thing. it shouldn't be a surprise that this one was bad. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't have been. But I was disappointed anyway, because shows and film franchises can mature. I talked earlier about X-Men Evolution as an example. It matured, found mistakes, and it corrected them. There's plenty of others like Avatar: The Last Airbender matured as it went along. There's movie franchises like Harry Potter. It matured as it went along. It paid attention to its audience. It grew up with the audience. Why I think this would have done anything similar and learned from its mistakes, I don't know. But this, kind of like what you were just talking about with Sonic Underground, this kind of took a look at the previous installments, of which there were 2. And it was like, all right, what's everything that's wrong with this? Let's double down on all of the bad things we've been doing and dive farther into those, because that'll be great. So they introduced even more characters to just kind of like name drop more people from Lovecraft lore. And as cool as it is to hear those names, more time could have been spent developing the story better. Instead, it felt super convoluted. The acting is bad to mediocre at best, with the exception of the few bigger names they brought in, kind of like Mark Hamill. The animation is bad. Like just as bad as the other installments, if not worse. I think you said when we reviewed it, it's kind of akin to Veggie Tales, and it is. Yeah. It looks like that. And this is the part that's the worst of the entire thing. That fight scene where all they do is run around and say "Ooh-ah!"
Oh man,
that was one of the most excruciating moments I've ever had doing this podcast. I was just sitting there watching this unfold. Oh,
it's so funny that you say that, because right when you mentioned this show, the first noise that came to mind was that "ooh-ah." It sticks with you, but not in a good way. It's just like it scarred my ear tissue, I guess, because I can't not hear it.
And
now.
this is the big problem. This is why that can't be forgiven. That scene was supposed to be the big epic moment. This was the big showdown. This was the coming together of so many things, and there's hardly a single line of dialogue, just hooah, which makes me think that a lot of this scene was just created and animated after the fact, like it wasn't even in the original script or something. And then Cthulhu dies from touching a book, just touching it. That's it. It puts in his palm and he dies. How? Oh, God. Every impactful moment of this movie landed with all the emphasis of a drip of water when they had years to do better. It was a cash grab at that point to capitalize on something that was in the public domain that they knew was popular, because, I mean, regardless of if Lovecraft was kind of a douchebag, racist jerk or not, his works, separated from who he is, are very popular and very interesting, but they put like no real heart or effort into this at all, and it shows more than anything in this third installment, way more than the others. So it's like they really could have they could have tried to make something of this, and they really just kind of phoned it in more than they ever had with the other 2.
I still don't know if they spent 2 whole weeks on that airship flying over on the Zeppelin.
Yeah.
There wasn't a montage. It just kind of went from one scene to another.
To get help from a guy that tried to end the world in the first place, where they're like, we need help not ending the world. Let's go to that guy that tried to end the world.
The perfect plan.
Perfect.
Flawless.
You guys, standing ovation is what I'm giving you right now. Congratulations. We've done it.
Congratulations on your Stale Marshmallow Award.
It hurts. It hurts me. So what's our next category before I have a stroke?
So our next category, the Surprise Inside Award, which is the biggest surprise. So pretty much the opposite of the last category. To lighten it up a little bit, this one is the one we were most surprised by. Ooh. The one that we may have gone in with no expectations, but then we're pleasantly surprised. Let's see what yours was.
This is such a contrast to what I was just talking about, because with this one I actually went in with low expectations and it blew me out of the water. This was from episode 223, The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack.
Let me stop you right there.
Is it yours
because
too?
we're going to team up on this one. Yep. This was also mine. Nice.
Hey, Audio 5. We talked about, like, I had some, and I mean, I think we both shared it. Like, I had preconceived notions about this show going in. I thought it was going to be weird, unlikable. I thought the humor was going to be stupid. It was the most incorrect I have ever been on this show, or about life in general, I think.
I think we both gave this one a 5 at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was so good.
It was so funny and just so unique. There are scenes that I still think about and laugh just thinking about them. I don't even have to see the scene, and it'll still make me laugh.
Yeah.
Like the one where Knuckles gets candy drunk and he's slurring his words talking to Flapjack.
Oh, yes.
It's so good.
The scene that, where we were just like, we've all seen our friends do that, just not with candy. Like, I've definitely been on the receiving end of hearing that one-sided conversation before.
And just to stay on that for just a second, because I love it so much, what I really like about it is how authentic it felt to, like you said, drunk friends we've had experience with in the past, where it's like, he asked him, he's like, did I ever tell you that you're my best pal ever? And Flapjack told him he did. And he's like, I did. Well, when I tell you that? And it's just all his responses to that just felt so real that it was just cracking me up.
To me, it sounded like at some point they got somebody or the writers drunk and they just recorded it and then just swapped out the words to make it fit for the show. And it felt very real. And not only was this hilariously funny, it had a ton of heart to it and so much creativity. That's one of the things that surprised me the most, was like the different styles of animation they dove into, because they didn't just stick to traditional animation that, like, if you look it up, type in, Flapjack, you'll see the regular 2D animation for the most part. But they did like 3D, they did cutouts, they did live action, they did claymation, they did puppetry. It's almost like a showcase of different styles of storytelling that they mix into this cartoon, more than just it being a cartoon itself.
Yeah, mixed media was definitely one of the highlights that I had written down too about that. I remember the scene where they're, I think it's the first episode we watched, where they're kind of, I guess, in that race, and they go across like that monster. Oh
yeah, that was cool. Like the big map icons that you're used to seeing on those old maps are visible there. Like, yeah, that was cool.
They're visible, but it's like they're taken right out of the map
and
as
interacting
they appear.
with you. Yeah,
exactly, and that was so smart. This was also, we should note, like the launching pass for Pendleton Ward from Adventure Time, J.G. Quintel from regular show, Alex Hirsch from Gravity Falls, and Patrick McHale from Over the Garden Wall, which are all fantastic shows in and of themselves. So it had an impact on the animation culture in and of itself. So I think that should really be noted in its favor. As great of a show as it is on its own, it's like, we should also mention that it really helped launch those other ones as well.
Well, yeah, it's basically the grandfather of modern cartoons right now. Like, at least the current landscape of modern animation, it all owes itself to this show, because of all those prominent creators that have gone on to make like the most popular cartoons of the past decade, but also like all of the other creators that came out of those shows, like people like Rebecca Sugar and things like that. So we've got all of the other shows that spawned from those, like Steven Universe and OKKO and Owl House and Amphibia. We might not have had any of these things if not for the success of Flapjack and its creator, Thurip Van Orman, who paved the way for all of this with their creative style of storytelling, and then assembling a group of creative people to be a part of that team.
Exactly. Oh, I'm so glad you chose this one too, because now we really got to dive into it.
Yeah.
It was kind of like this was one that wasn't as tough as I thought it was going to be. Like as I was looking over my list, I was like, you know what? The one that really surprised me because like you, I went in with low expectations was this one, hands down.
Yeah, it was either going to be this or that one that was basically like Monster High, but it was about fairy tale people.
Oh yeah, I did look at that one too, but that one didn't impress me as much as this one did.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't have the same kind of flair, but this I'm solid on this choice. This was the greatest choice. I honestly the accolades that we give it just it doesn't do it justice. This is a show that everyone should see, especially if you're fancy yourself any kind of animation buff. You owe it back to this one.
I mean, the first episode had a crazy inventor who powered his things with kids.
It's so funny.
Hilarious. So the next award on our list is the Dirty Spoon Award, which was the overall worst show we watched this year. And I'll go first this time, and maybe it'll be the same as yours. I'm not sure, but
It won't be.
I'm hoping
it won't
it is.
be.
It won't be? Okay.
No.
The one that I chose was episode 219, Mary-Kate and Ashley in Action from 2001.
I was so close. I was so close to it, but
Just thinking back on it, like, oh man, it's so one-toned. It had no charm to it. I know that someone's told us otherwise, but I still don't believe there's more than one villain, Rene LaRouge, because that's all we saw in like 3 randomly dispersed episodes. You can't even find this whole series anymore because they've tried to bury it, basically. We were only able to find so many episodes of it. There was a Scottish terrier who could also talk, but he spoke Scottish poorly. One of the things in that clown episode, there was irritating soap. That's what was making all these clowns angry at each other, I guess. And then you remember like the antidote, how it turned Renee into a clown or something? It's like none of that made sense. They just kind of were making it up as they went along, solving it with the most mundane things like throwing science at it or just throwing whatever at it. Like none of it was like rationalized at all. They didn't even try. It was all just based on the names of Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, which fine, like there's other shows that do that, but in this one they were just writing on that, on those live action scenes that sandwich the show. It's like, oh look, it's them, so hopefully you like them because that's all you're gonna get, because there's no substance to it. There was that one guy who was bragging about being Mayan to that girl.
because he was trying to hook up with that one girl. Yeah.
No one was particularly likable in this at all, and or stood out in a positive way. And yeah, it was just groan worthy all around. They're supposed to be secret agents and solving these mysteries, but there weren't like clues dispersed about. It was just the dumbest things. Like, how could you have ever guessed that itchy soap was the cause of all this? I'm done. I have to be done. I don't want to talk about this show anymore.
I do like too that they are secret agents who happen to also be celebrities. So it's like, how secret can you really be?
Oh yeah, and their secret names were Misty and Amber. Like, great code names.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's Mary-Kate Olsen. Sorry, my name's Misty. Oh, okay, never mind. So I chose Sonic Underground.
Okay.
So as you said earlier, episode 228. And yeah, there were other bad ones for sure. Like you mentioned this one, the Mary-Kate and Ashley one, that was bad. Bratz is another one that was really bad. All 3 of these were kind of tied for me for the longest time. But then this is how I determined which one I was going to give the award to, which was I looked at the 3 and I said, which one did I laugh the least? And that was Sonic Underground. I laughed a lot at how bad Bratz was, and I laughed a little bit less at how bad the Olsen twins was. I barely laughed watching Sonic Underground. I think the only time I did was the robot baby explosion. And that was more of a surprise laugh. Like, oh my God, what? The rest of it was just like, oh my gosh, this is torture. The characters were just so unlikable. Even Sonic to me. I mean, you know, him and his siblings were all basically just facets of the same personality. There's no difference between them. There's no conflict. There's no differing opinions. Nothing stands out other than their designs, that they're colored differently, and that they all play a different instrument. And it isn't helped at all, as you said, that they're all voiced by the same actor. And those voices don't stand out at all. They all sound relatively the same. The overall plot is absolutely overcomplicated, poorly executed, and rarely even touched upon. And when it is, it barely even makes sense. Like how they're trying so hard to reunite with their mom. And then towards the end of that one episode, she's just there and just walks past him like, and just carries on. It's like, wait, what? The whole thing is that you guys are trying to reunite so you can do this thing. And she's right there and she's just like, meh. But you've got all these new characters that they use in place of using established characters in this franchise. Like they could have used Tails or Amy or anyone. And then they're using music as a weapon. Like music is such a big part of the show, and the music is terrible. Like you can't
so bad.
make music the focal point of your show and then make it the worst part of the show. Like even the intro sucks, and it's so long. It's like a minute and a half of just like telling you the entire plot. 3 babies got thrown out of their house. Who cares? And it's just like, God, this sucks. The animation's bad, but I mean, at least they gave us an exploding robot baby, which as much as I laughed when it happened, that was horrifying. I don't know. Like, I think I said it when we reviewed it, but it still seems to me that the original creators had an idea for what this show was going to be. And then Sega or some other studio exec was like, nah, let's go this direction. And then they compromised and were like, you know what? Let's just Frankenstein this whole thing together. So they made this unwatchable mess of a show that's very reminiscent of why so many Sonic games are terrible after the Sega Genesis ones.
Yep. There's a reason why it was the most disappointing to me.
Ugh, I need a shower right now. I need to take a shower.
Well, fortunately, the next 2 categories are going to be positive ones, and we'll move right into them. The Silver Spoon Award, which was the best movie, is our next award.
I chose this is the reason why I prefaced earlier and said, hey, we had a couple stragglers that weren't technically in 2020, but they were done after the first Spoonies. And this is the reason, because I chose episode 203, Klaus.
Yep, same.
Nice. Okay, we can double team this one, which sounds, don't
Yeah.
ever take that out of context, please. It's such a deep story at its core, but it has so much humor, so many nods to all the folklore of Christmas, but done in a completely new way that I didn't expect at all. And like it's one of those movies that it kept me like on my toes the whole time, because I didn't know how they were going to do it. I really didn't. And every bit of it was super delightful.
It's basically the, I mean, it's got liberties, of course, but it's basically the origin of Santa Claus. Oh man, I just love the execution of it. The animation was fantastic. There was so much heart to it. I know I cried a couple times. The overall story was just so sweet, and there was a lot of comical bits to it too. Like it had great balance because it really elicited so much emotion throughout the film. It was a very powerful one that I think is going to last. Like it was a surprise too. I don't think that I even knew it was coming out, and then it just was like there on Netflix, or I saw it like in the Netflix headlines, and then gave it a chance. And man, I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I mean, I was recommending this to people this Christmas season, coworkers, people that I've talked to online and things like that. I was just kind of saying, you know, people that would ask for, hey, what's a good Christmas movie to watch this year that I might not have seen yet? And I'm like, you have to watch Klaus. It's so good, especially if you have kids. This is the movie that you need to watch if you haven't seen it yet. Why does he come down the chimney? Where do the toys come from? Why does he eat cookies? Who are the elves? How did the naughty list start? All of that is done in such like organic and funny and interesting, clever ways throughout this movie. And some of them are done in just passing. You know, it's not like big buildups to how something is done. They're not big reveals all the time. Sometimes it's just like a one-off comment that you're like, oh my God, that's okay. So that's why the cookies, or that's why the naughty list. That's so good. And just us as the viewer, it's just like a little wink and a nod to us. And I love that about this.
Right. Yeah. It presents it in a way that it feels authentic. It's like, you can believe in like these like magical species of elves and whatnot, but this is a way that kind of rationalizes it to where you're like, okay, I could actually see this being the case as to what the origin actually was. Like it makes it feel more real. It elicits Christmas spirit in a way that I don't think a movie has done for me in quite some time, especially not a newer movie. And seeing Jesper, the main protagonist, seeing his character development throughout the film from the selfish person he starts as to where he ends up is just such a wonderful trip.
Plus, you get a big, bulky daddy of a Santa, which is great.
Oh my gosh,
Oh, man.
Santa. Yeah.
Voiced by the wonderful J.K. Simmons. But
Yes.
the one thing I also want to mention is the animation. Oh my God. This is the farthest 2D animation has ever been pushed. And it is phenomenal. If you are any kind of artist or you enjoy art in any degree, you have to look up the making of this movie. You've got to see it for yourself because it will blow your mind that this is still 2D on paper. You will not believe it. It is crazy how they do this thing. It looks like a moving, I don't know, it looks like a moving storybook, like a golden book or something like that. It's crazy.
For me at least, this is going to segue well into our final award, which is the Golden Spoon Award, best overall. And I'll just go ahead and say it. For me, that was also Klaus. So we can just continue talking about it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Everything I said before, everything you said before.
All those things.
Yeah, all those things. Plus, it's timeless. It's one of those timeless classics. This goes right up there on the shelf with Rudolph, with Frosty the Snowman, with Year Without a Santa Claus. It's all of those plus this now in the Christmas like must see lexicon that is what makes it so unforgettable and also just such a impactful movie that I absolutely think you should show children this, but you'll still enjoy it as an adult. It's not childish in any way, but it has elements to it that are just so sweet. Like you want those to impact your kids at an early age because you want them to be better people like Jesper ends up being. When it goes into the Sami people where they give where Santa and Jesper come together to build that sled for the little girl. Oh, like I'm tearing up just thinking about it because of how sweet that scene is. And then I won't spoil the ending. I mean, you kind of know where it's going to go regardless, but the ending itself, like that, I can't think about without tearing up because it's just it's so well done. The icing on the cake of an already fantastic film. I know we've talked at length about it already, so I'm curious to hear what your best overall was for the year.
Well, I was going to say before I get into it that's why every time that you watch Klaus, you sit in front of the TV with a bowl of dry Christmas Crunch cereal.
Exactly. I don't need milk when my tears do all the work.
Yeah, exactly. My Golden Spoon Award went to Primal.
Oh, nice.
You talked a lot about Primal, but Primal blew me away in a fashion that no other show has been able to do so far. No other animated show has been able to do. I said it before when we reviewed it, but I'll say it again. This is a masterclass in animation, storyboarding, and directing. It is so unbelievably good. And I'm gonna hang on. And I'm gonna tell you why. There's no dialogue. And that is insane to me because that shows you how strong this is for me to be able to say that this was the best cartoon that we watched and there's no dialogue in it at all. So because it doesn't need it because the animation was done that good. You know exactly what the characters are thinking and feeling. And, I could take that and say that's because of the animation, but it's also because of the writing and the directing and the storyboarding. It's that entire team. It's everybody cohesively working together to create this thing and telling the story that is so compelling. And it's crazy because it's literally a caveman and a dinosaur. but somehow it's one of the most compelling stories that you're gonna find on television. They both lose their families to violence and such violence that it makes your gut turn, because this world is terrifying and treacherous. But even still, there is such soft moments and genuinely funny moments, and there's magic and there's adventure, and there is just as much brutality and horror as there is beauty in this world. Within all of that, every shot of this is framed like a masterpiece. Every facial expression, every bead of sweat has its purpose in propelling the narrative forward. And I don't think this show has made a single misstep in what I've seen so far. And which is why I'm so excited to watch the second season, because I honestly think that this show is a showcase for a creator who has mastered their craft of storytelling and led a team to master their craft as a whole so that others can take from it and learn from it. So I've never been so impressed with the development of anything, of any project, as much as I was impressed by this.
I was hoping they would get someplace on your list, but I wasn't expecting this, so that's awesome.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know why I said it like that. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we did it.
I can't believe it's over.
We got
like
through.
It seems like it's been an hour, but it feels like it just rushed by.
I know, man. We got through the second annual Spoonies. 2, we made it through 20XX. Now that it's over, 2020, we got through the cursed year, the year of curses and horribleness. We made it.
We survived.
Yeah.
We got to see some great shows.
Yeah.
Also some terrible ones.
We saw some terrible stuff.
But we ended on a good note.
Yeah, we did. And here's hoping we see a lot more good stuff. And, maybe the bad stuff will be a little less torturous and a little bit more fun this coming year. We'll definitely find out, won't we?
Well, I know for one thing, we're pretty much done with Sonic shows, and there's no more Mary-Kate and Ashley cartoons.
Bro,
so hey,
you said that, but Netflix just announced a new Sonic show.
Oh, you're right.
Netflix just announced one. Why would you say that? Oh,
but Sonic Boom's good, so this could be better.
Us all over again. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh man.
Oh.
Well, before we close out, I do want to thank everybody for listening for however long you've been listening. Even if this is your first episode.
Yeah.
If so, that's weird. You should go back and listen to some of the other ones.
Yeah,
but
it's weird.
For anybody who's stuck around for this long, we appreciate it. We appreciate you and all your suggestions, even the bad ones, because that gives us a chance to have some ammo for the worst pick categories.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I do enjoy getting to dig on those bad ones. I just don't like having to sit there and actually watch them.
The most painful thing is sitting through these shows and taking notes on them.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like it's homework stacked on top of torture.
Especially when it's like they get so bad that your mind is trying to protect you and you stop paying attention, and then you realize 5 minutes have gone by and you don't know what's happened. So you gotta rewind and watch it again. And that's the worst part.
There's some shows like that they're only 22 minutes or less, but they last me like 30 to 45 minutes because of how many times I have to rewind.
There was an episode of Sonic Underground that took me over an hour. I'm not kidding. That's why I hated it so much.
Still, thank you for suggesting them, but maybe go a little easier on us this year.
Yeah, don't hurt us on purpose.
Please.
Yeah, don't hurt me.
Well, listeners, looks like our milk supply is now run dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. And in 2 weeks, we'll be watching
Donkey Kong Country, submitted via Facebook by Alexandra Smith.
Oh, goodness. I vaguely remember this. Wasn't it like bad CG?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm scared. I'm so scared right now that this is what we're starting with in the new year. Oh, no. This got voted to the top of the list. This was voted to the very top of the list. Why? How? I don't know, but I'm so scared.
You know what? Fantastic video game. I'm gonna go in with even expectations. Not too high, not too low. I'm gonna go in with an open mind.
Yeah, video game, 5 out of 5. Sequel to video game, 5 out of 5. threequel to the video game. 3 out of 5, maybe.
But the show, TBD out of 5.
TBD out of 5.
Well, once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
We'll see you in 2 Saturdays.
Presented by Nerdsloth,
a place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.